Okay, so it's 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning on the 18th. I don't even know why I started I'm trying to keep track of what day and time and all of that. I don't know. It seems like it has some kind of relevance. Maybe this is my diary through the chaos. And it'd be a bestseller. The like Anne Frank's, but that's what's so crazy is that they made that shit up. Or they took it from some other time period and then used it. I don't know. There's something that's not real about it though. Um, Anyways, I wasn't sure what she was gonna do, as I thought maybe she was gonna be having a fit. But so she's gonna wait until after, because then this morning I was like totally out, and I don't know if it's the energy or if it's the magnesium spray, but I was totally out. And then Max just comes running in there and comes running on me like, excited. It's time to wake up, everybody. And I was like, oh no. And he just, by the time he left and went out, I was like, I'm gonna have to get up, because what if he has to go pee? Then I'm gonna be, the next thing I'll be hearing is him peeing. And so I get up and go let him out, and he goes to pee. And then comes over. He's right on my feet. That is one thing. He is notorious for trying to be under my feet and take my step before me. And then when it's him and Archie both doing it, oh my God. Oh, I just don't even know. Because I have a big dog. She's not under my feet. And she's not trying to, maneuver like, where's the giant going next? It's like, oh my God. I swear to God, it pisses me off. And they know it, because every time I'll be like, God damn it. So anyways, whatever he was doing, he was under my feet. And I think I was trying to make some tea or whatever, but then suddenly there he is puking. And of course, he has hit every spot on the thing. He doesn't go back and puke in the same spot. No, he's got to make sure he wants this rug to totally be covered with puke. And if I try and stop him, he goes directly to run into the tent. So I ran over there and I'm trying to guard the tent, and nobody's messing with the puke, because I'm over there trying to guard him and he's retching, and I'm just like, go puke on the goddamn concrete, like what the hell? Make it easy. And but he just sits there and just looks at me like, oh God, I'm not even allowed to puke. He just sits there and look at me like, and he stopped puking. So then but he still needed to puke. And it just like almost 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're puking out your dinner that looks like you just ate it. It's like, what is up with his stomach? Like, shouldn't it seems like it should be, every time he pukes, I don't know how dogs' stomachs work, because it seems like it would be more dissolved or something by now. It's like hours and hours and hours later, and it's just coming up the same way it looked like it was in your dish a little while ago. It's like, ugh, so gross, but it stinks. It definitely stinks. It smells like bile or acidic or something. I cannot stand that smell. And then that smell just makes me puke. That was when I worked in the ER. This one point, this person started puking, and they're like, "Get a puke bag." I'm grabbing it, I'm going, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was gagging so hard, like hard. I'm trying to give it to them. It's like I have to leave the room. I can't. I can't stand it. But but so then I decided to do, a horse paste on everybody. And so, because that is what, when I was reading, it said it can be, parasite. And I just feel like there's just so many. There's so many right now. And then there's so many animals around, and even wildlife and stuff. And they're out there sniffing in that fox, and I don't even know what all, because they all follow the same trail when I'm taking them walking. It's like a whole different group of dogs, and they'll go the same pathway and sniffing in the same areas, and they always want to start pulling me into a certain direction, or it'd be like, we're going into the trees, dodging. It's like, hell no, It's slapped in the face by the trees. And then it's low. These branches can grow out. And as these branches are gnarly, they grow in these gnarls. And it's weird. There's lots of weird stuff with these trees. But I know there's something out there, and I don't know. It can be because there's the turkeys, the deers, the quail, and the fox, the rabbits. Is the cat that keeps getting the rabbits, and squirrels. There was a dead squirrel, dead rabbits, the whatever. There's lots of stuff out there, and then you'd think, and they're all kind of sharing this yard, so it's like they all there could be all kinds of parasites out there. So, anyways, is what I'm gonna see if that works. And it seems like it was around. I should document this better than just the this little diary thing, because I can't. I don't know, but it seems like it was about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, when the last time we did one of these cleanses things. And I have heard some people say like they do it once a month or whatever, just one day. So anyways, I'm gonna try it. I may do a couple more days on something. But you know what, on her thing under her chin, that aloe vera, I'm telling you, has made the biggest difference of all of this stuff. But I've done them all, so I'm sure they all work together. And so she's had all sorts of, man, when there's a loud noise like that, it's just eerie. Sometimes, like, if I'm laying there and my eyes are shut and I'll hear a loud noise, it'll really throw me. Because then for a minute, I'll think I'm at home alone. And then it's like, where am I? What is that? Who is that? It's creepy. It happens all the time. But I've done the DSMO, the different pastes, a whole bunch of different stuff. Silver colloidal. But anyways, the aloe vera seems to really be drying it up or whatever, and it seems like it's starting to like I don't know, like on my tooth. I go that because it's real gray again, so it's filling in the darker, lower spots, and so that. So on the thing, so it's kind of like it is like where her skin is, and it started having this growth thing, but it's like the skin is going underneath the growth kind of and pushing it off. And so it's kind of like it's weird, because it's like this part that doesn't really have anything to hold on to anymore, and it just is looking way more small and shriveled and dry, kind of, and way smaller, but more like it isn't having as much place to hold on to or something. I don't know, but and I know that was some kind of a seed. It was growing so big, and then it was somebody else's. Well, when I showed my mom too, she's like, "Well, I'm pretty sure that's the seed." But there's a lot of dogs getting these growths, and they are this. And they grow so big, and after seeing Tommy's leg, oh my God, I didn't know cancer could, because I thought cancer kind of ate away. Like that one lady who, when I had first started nursing, and I was still in nursing school, but I was a nurse tech, so I'd been through enough school that I could work at the hospital, but I still hadn't finished. It's kind of like an intern or something. And so I was on the cancer floor, and it was brutal. But that one woman who came in, and they made like this whole thing about how she lived rural, like in Elk Chattaroy, which is not that fucking rural. But so she was living out rural or something, and she didn't ever get treatment. Well, that's why we need to offer treatment. That's what's so important about going rural and educating people. That's the kind of stuff they talk about. But then, so she didn't never get treatment for her breast cancer. And I didn't have her as a thing, but all the nurses were just like, oh, everybody was out talking about it and stuff. And the cancer had eaten her whole breast off, and it was eating her chest. So she had this, it was disappearing. And so I thought, you know, if you have it, it'll start eating away. But then when I saw Tommy's, it was like it kept growing and growing and growing and growing. I was like, it goes from this little thing like this to all of a sudden it's like half of his leg is this giant. And he would thump, thump, and he'd keep going. Like, man, that cat was fucking legendary. Then, so when she was having that on her face, and then it started growing and growing, and I was like, oh, fuck. And, I don't know what their solution is, and that puts, when they cut any of that open, then it sets all that free. So it goes through your body looking for a new place to grow. And so it's not a solution. What they try and tell us is it's not really. And it's always weird because, like, if people are all figuring this shit out, like, you know, it seems like it would be so obvious to some of the doctors who are out there working. Like, if they're just never using their 1 + 1 = 2 or something. They're all on the following orders and counting the dollar bills. It's like, in everything in reality becomes what it is you focus on. And so you bypass or miss so many different things because your focus is on this. And you become inserted into your focus. And it's not, and a lot of these people are not well rounded. And they're just impulse driven, emotionally led. And so, see that, but that's the thing about being on autopilot, being emotionally mature, is it's lower chakra. They haven't done any work on themselves, or in this period of time, whatever, because God can't say in the big scheme of things what their souls, yeah, because this is very misleading, this world, this game, this matrix thing. It's very misleading as to what you think or assume or whatever that people are, because it's very different, because they're here playing roles, or here, it's like this is a game. It's like everybody has their game face on. It's just, it's not the same. So you're not, whoever people are outside of here is different than what they would appear to be inside of here. And so, yeah, I see it all. The coming out of here is way more of a shake it off, shake this place off. Like, nobody is of this place, that we are like that we are like the same as, like, in our in the people that are here, that are low vibration in their chakra. That doesn't mean that that's how it is outside of the game. That is the challenge in the game. So it's like they're confronting these things, but it's in a game, and then that helps them to expand. But that doesn't mean that that is where they're at in their soul's journey. Like, that's the deception, is you can think, like, where people are like, oh, new souls and stuff like that. This is consciousness. This is consciousness, and it's consciousness in a mind trap that's becoming alert in the trap. So you see how it's like overcoming. It's a game. So in this kind of stuff, this isn't the only one. There's so many different realities, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's what, this that's never been done before, or whatever. This reset is coming conscious in the game, you know, in the lower vibration kind of thing. I don't know. Things are going to make so much more sense once stuff happens. Once we see, and it's got to be getting I mean, it is getting closer. Every day that doesn't happen, we get closer. But it's like, man, the way time just ticks along and ticks along, it seems like it just takes forever. It's like, and it does at points start feeling like, God dang, is this ever going to happen? Like, fuck, man. And the one thing too, when I opened the door I don't know, third time or something, then the moon was all of a sudden over here in this weird random place, super, super low. And I was like, I mean, how is it on one side of the house for 1 week, and then the next week it's over on the other, and it's one phase of the moon, and then it's flipped to the other side? It's like, it's weird. And so to me, it's not just one thing. But when I was looking out there, all of a sudden I saw like a clock, you know, like a clock when it gets off from the time, and then it keeps like losing time, and it keeps looking just off, and it's like if you've ever had a clock that goes slow, you know, a regular tick 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 clock, and then because a lot of people, they just have the whatever virtual clocks or whatever, the plug-in kind that tells you the numbers, which is another crazy thing. Was and this was before the cursive thing, when I realized how many kids don't know how to read clock anymore. It's like having the numbers be out there and tell us the time, and it's not even to be able to count it for ourselves or something, which is apparently another way of control, but it's also another deficit in development. And so people don't learn how to tell time, and then you're really reliant on that thing. So anyways, I found that out, whatever it was, I don't know. It was a lot of things I was figuring out, like around 2016, especially like social things, like, because I really started noticing how much people in their division, how they don't listen to other people, and all they do is judge them. And so I started being like, all these people have their biases against these people. That's what is the there's a whole bunch of words coming in my head, but I'm not saying all those. Disgrace. But it's like the filter system, like the micro macro, and so it is. It's like a clog in the filter system, and so the biases in the filter being clogged, and you don't put through all of the information, like you have blockages and it doesn't get through, and that is your own creation from your own judgment, your own biases, that prevent you from getting all the information. And that's why you gotta look at them and figure them out and let go of things. You just gotta, I mean, there's reasons why you have these things, you know. That's because we're all different, so we all have different things, so there's a purpose behind it. And so, but you got to look at it deeper and try and understand it more, instead of just riding it and going with it and dividing and becoming in groups and hate groups, and I hate you, well I hate you, well you're stupid, well you're stupider, this back and forth shit that is so childish. And then the bullying too that goes on, and the making fun of people and laughing at them. I even got me the other day too, was even when you're just, you know, making fun of somebody, different things about them and stuff, but then you just got to go low, like you got to start going like their stupid hair, and you know, when they were talking about Bernie and his hair and his everything, they just attack, where it's like, you're even attacking his hair? Like, what do people got to be so uh, but it's inside of them, and see, instead of feeling it, feeling like, God, I'm kind of a nasty ass, and looking at themselves and seeing, why am I so bitter? Why am I so like, why do I get so, like, I'm gonna tear them down. Let's all like ravage like a pack of wolves and tear this person down together. And that makes them small and us strong. And that is, but that is like this micro macro predatory kind of hierarchy world that has been created. And that's where you see the people that ride that energy, and they don't realize it. That's why I say they're like in the dark and they don't realize it. But when the light comes on, that's where they're going to feel the shame and stuff, like, oh God, I was kind of being real nasty. I was being really rude and hateful and bitter and stuff. But see, people got to see it in themselves, and they just blame everything and everyone else for it. But um, the judgment and stuff, they all carry it within themselves, and so then they prevent themselves because they won't listen to people who they think is stupid and they don't know what they're talking about. Which is, that's one thing about the religion, because they are so sure that's the only way. Everyone else, like, we're in our own imagination about any kind of God or spirit, like, we're all loony. There's only one way, and it is and then how many of, like, you talking about something that twists into that is like that, well, that's the only way. Get on board. And it's like, no, I'm not gonna. Well, you're gonna regret it. Well, I don't think so. I don't think so. And I've been whatever, going for decades, and have not regretted it so far. So it is, and I've not changed my stand. I only see it more. It's definitely like I haven't seen it go away, but the kind of how religion kind of brings out a hateful hierarchy, I'm better than you, kind of whole thing in people. And then how the people don't even think about, like, especially as there being so much information is being shown that it's been misleading. But, well, it doesn't matter about any of that. This is the truth. It's like, but you went through all of these people to get to this. So how can you for sure know that's the truth? Well, I feel it. I know it because I talk to them. It's like, well, what about some of us do too? And we're getting a different story. Well, nope, you're wrong. You're wrong. Your story's wrong. My story's right. It's like, well, I think everybody has a little bit of right and a little bit of wrong. And we're all supposed to come together and be open. Like, the more you're open to information, the more you're open to other people's opinions and stuff like that, the more you are, I don't know, it's like a more relaxed, open-minded, going with the flow, rather than the closed off, it's my way or the highway, it's this way, not that way. It's like, I'm doing it, you're stupid. It's like, that is it's like a different energy. And it's so rigid, and it's so judgmental, and it's so bitter, and it's so hateful, and it's all stuff inside of them. But they don't let it come out. Especially, that's another thing with the religion too. Jesus takes away all your bitterness, and it just goes away. Well, why are you still carrying it then? I thought he took it. Because that's not possible. Nobody can take your shit. You've got to deal with it. And all you're doing is putting yourself off from getting stuff handled, especially like if this energy only comes through for this big opportunity to evolve your consciousness in some way or another, and it only comes around like once every millennial or something, like a long time, then shouldn't we all be on board? But there's so much influence to turn people in another direction. And so that's the thing, that it's going to be so trippy when people start doing this awakening. Like, I'm really curious to see when we get on the other side what all these people are going to say about the experience then. like what they were going through, what they were experiencing, how they were seeing things and stuff, and then how it all of a sudden unfolded so that they could see more clearly. And because it's going to be dramatic, but it's so weird because I'm just so curious how, how are people like so, like my soul has been loud since I was little. That it's always been super loud. The spiritual has always been so loud to me, and it's not ever something like I could like I don't know how people or cut it off. So, but everybody's going to be putting those pieces back together, and so it's going to be, it is going to be quite a spectacle. It's going to be quite a big thing. That's what we're all here for, this big awakening, this big expansion in our conscious state of mind, because we are conscious energy. And any further development into ourselves is a higher development state. So, it's like I see it like a puddle, and then you pour water into the puddle, and how much bigger the puddle were to become. That's like what we are having. It's like we are already a puddle, but then anything you add to us, it just makes us bigger and more established. Yeah, at some point you become a pond. At some point you can become a river, a lake, an ocean, a planet. So we are like these evolutionary points. I would presume that we really like to ride them out. Like it's something that the soul looks forward to. Which this morning I was like, oh, I'm cleaning up that puke, and I'm just like, oh, I just want to cry. Like, what the fuck? And it's just so crazy. Like how some of this stuff, it just feels like such a beat down. Like, fuck, man. It's like, it's like, this energy on this planet is just like trying to get us down and just keep kicking us and kicking us and keeping us down, because it feeds off of it. So it just wants to keep us down and keep us in hostility. And so there's so much of those feelings, man. It's so intense right now. Fuck. And just yesterday when I was going and walking, I mean, it's like everything. Max is going around me and circling me and shit. I was just like, everything was so irritating. Stella's walking so slow. She wants to just stand over there and eat grass in the neighbor's yard and just keep standing there and standing there. It's like, oh my God, can we go? Let's go walk if we're gonna walk. I was like, there's grass in Nana's yard. Go find grass in her yard. It's like every fucking day we head over to this grass. It's like, oh God. And then some of the times it's just like, it's so irritating. Everything is so intense and irritating. And everything seems so much more exaggerated. And so it's just like, oh. So the energy is like that. Which to me is like a part of like the moon being over here, over there. It's like this energy, and then it is like it can't keep that, like time is falling apart, so it can't keep going on a time schedule because time's falling apart. So maybe it's supposed to be here every day. It's been there for years and years and years at midnight, but now all of a sudden it could be over here, it could be over there, it could be over here, because the time is off. And so the clock is like, it's going. That's what, yeah, it's like the clock is going, but then there's other things that are going, and that is like this. It's like we are energetically in a tornado. What is that called? When there's a whole bunch of them at once. A tornado something. Not a spectrum. A tornado. It's like I could hear it, but I can't get it out of me. A tornado, well, you get what I'm saying. There's a whole bunch of them at once, because it's all these different energies. But yeah, it's like the clock, time, everything that references time to us is out of sync. None of them are syncing, and everything is out of sync. Our momentum how we move through the day, everything is out of sync. And so that, and to me, there's so much like of the physical representation in the micro, macro, or whatever. So it's so weird because then all of a sudden there was the moon right in front of me on this Roku background thing. Then, but the stuff to be out of place, out of sync, everything is like represents everything else. So it's like this representation of what's happening in our world. And so, yeah, there's no, it can't go back to being regular. Nothing is going to go back to being what it was. Everything is going to keep continuing to fall apart from what was there. And it's like the people holding on to it is the resistance. And the people holding on to it, it's out of fear, and it's out of desperation, it's out of the not understanding that there's so much more. There's so much more to the world, so much more. It's like the closed minded, it's like the cage. It's like the being so comfortable in the cage that you don't want to go out of the cage. And so, but it's also in this awakening is where they've got themselves in a trap, but that is where the consciousness is all of a sudden going to become aware of itself on another level. And that is where they're going to understand that they're keeping themselves trapped. Just like this God character keeps people trapped and being submissive. There's something over you. It keeps you trapped in the place of not dealing with your stuff. Just hand it over. It is it's a solution that will keep you in a trap. And so there's lots of things for people to wake up to their own trap, mysterious, their own mysterious traps that they have somehow aligned themselves into for different reasons. But and most of the negative parts is it all is based on fear. Fear is so huge. When everybody's scared of this or scared of that, but you can go deeper into your fears. But that is what it seems like. It's what is holding the resistance is fear. And all of the people who are fearful, that's why the awakening part, the spiritual part of plugging in will take away the fear, because then you realize, you remember like, oh, nothing can hurt me. This is even if I get blown up out of this game, I land over on this desert island over there with the love of my life or something. You go anywhere you want to go or do anything you want to do. It's just bouncing from one dream to the next. Only when we're in our soul more, we in certain vibrations, I would guess, and we're more lucid, so we have more power, control over our experience. This to me is like the mastering yourself in a lower vibration, where you don't have all that, where you have this other entities that are interfering with your existence, your reality, and they can do it in secret, in the dark and stuff. So that's one thing why you want to have awareness that there's things around you at play, and that and they do things to keep us down and to keep us sad and to keep us scared, like knock on windows and there's nothing there and stuff. There's all sorts of things. Like we're in a supernatural game thing. And so, yeah, you want to open your awareness to that, but so many people are trapped out of that. And then they try and always make things make sense. They try and make it, that because the pipes were doing this and they're always trying to make logical sense out of things in a place that is it is almost like the place is laughing at you because of your ignorance of, or your inability to feel what's real and trying to make sense of something that's not, because you're trying to put it into a different form and see it in a different way than what's really there. And that, again, is out of fear and stuff. But anyways, so much of the fear, though, it comes from the people just not realizing that they're an eternal being, their energy. But this is an illusion, and this isn't who you really are. You're a whole bunch of things, and you're a whole bunch of different people, and you're not all good, and you're not all bad. There's just some people trapped in thinking that they have no value, they're too bad. They had a bad thought one time, which then people don't even realize that most of your thoughts is coming from outside of you. It's this dark energy fucking with you and giving you things, and you start feeling like it's you. You're just a bad person. You think this and you think that. It's like, no, they're just throwing shit at you, and then you don't realize it, so you just absorb it and think it's you. That's why you got to be able to understand and like put up a barrier of, realizing like, oh no, that's those assholes fucking trying to fuck with me. And so that's the kind of game that we're playing here. It's like fighting the invisible man. Yeah, it's like, oh, what is that thing called? Like a cage fight with the invisible man or something. But anyways, so all that stuff. But yesterday I watched this movie that I wanted to say about. It was called, what was that called? Reality, maybe it was called. Or Winner, or some Winner Reality, I don't know. But anyways, it's this girl. And it has Zach Galifianakis or whatever. That guy is in it. He's the dad. It has Connie, what's her name? People always tell me I look like her. Connie, I think her name, I can't even think of her name. But she's the mom. And then has these two girls playing the daughters, but I don't know their names. They're like younger actresses. I'm not as familiar with, like I've seen them, but I don't know their names. And so if you're trying to find the movie, and it's a new movie, and so it's true, and this girl, her name is Reality Winner, and Zach Gaff, whatever he was very, got hooked on the opiates, and then but he was very socially minded and against the government. So anyways, he was kind of raising his kids to be a certain way. Like the one daughter wanted a puppy for her birthday, and they go into the pet store, and so the dad starts talking about puppy mills and shit, and what happens to the dogs, what happens to their mother, and all that stuff. So that's how they were raised, him telling the truth about shit. And so the two little girls were, especially Reality, she was like upset. It was like, so she decides to just set all the puppies free. So she just lets all the puppies run free. So, which upsets her sister because she wanted one for her birthday and she didn't get it now. But the social justice warrior was born in this girl, because she had her dad indoctrinating her in a certain direction. And she was, it's funny because we are set into these certain relationships and these certain transit that like everything that's going to happen is supposed to happen exactly the way it happens. And so anyways, so this girl, and I remember when this happened, but I don't remember too much about the details. I just remember them really going off on this girl on media, but I don't pay that much attention to their bullshit. So like I didn't know her name or anything, but so she was this certain type of person, kind of a rebellious kind of person or something. And so she decided to, and it was right after the towers. And so she decided to join the service like a whole bunch of other people. And she was like she was a girl who knew how to use these things, and she knew them all. Like she was out learning how to do that when she was young. And she also she also had decided to learn other languages when she was little. So she started teaching herself some kind of Arabic language, and I don't remember why she had chose the one that she had chosen or whatever. But whatever, she started going towards trying to learn about these other languages. And so she became really good with these other languages, and that's why they wanted her in the service, because it was some kind of a thing and she could translate. And so once they get wind of something, man, they're on it. And see, everything is like these siphoning things through life. Like I've talked about this before. School, everything. It's like a filter basket. And they get us all in there, and then they filter through and direct us into certain ways, certain things. And they grab hold of people who have certain talents and stuff. They'll get them. And so she was at something, and it was like this, I don't know, ROTC guy or something. Anyway, so she was able to translate this stuff, and it was like, so then all of a sudden she has the Air Force knocking at her door, calling her up, like, you know, we really like you. We got a special course. We'll put you in translation, all this stuff. And she really was anxious to get over to Afghanistan, which I can get. Like, I don't know what her draw was, but I remember being, you know, young teenager like that, and I just wanted to get to Egypt. I just wanted to get to those pyramids. I was like rooting out my way, my route, mapping it out, counting, like figuring out how I was going to get from Spain to Africa. And then I was going to go across, and I was going to get to Egypt because I had to get to the pyramids. I just had to get to them. So I don't know what her draw was, but we all have these internal things that we have going. So whatever, she had learned all these languages, like she was like an expert on this language because she could understand different dialects. So she was helping other people. And so they swooped in, they got her, and then they put her in to go translate. Well, so what she ends up that she's translating starts going against her morals because it is horrible. And so it is horrible. Like, it is horrible. And it's disturbing. Like, when you see this, it's disturbing. And and she's just a young girl, just right out of high school. And so she is in there doing these translations and telling them, well, she doesn't know until this one. So there's certain key words that they're looking for. Once you have these key words, you call over the supervisor, general, whatever the fuck, and then they pull you to go hone in. So there was some parts like when she's on there, then she tells them, then all of a sudden they're in this room. There's a guy sitting at a desk with all these screens in front of him, and he is like back in the World War II or something, like we would have like the fighter pilots or some of these fighter jets that go out and fight each other, supposedly. Like, I don't know, I wasn't there. But supposedly they'd be in these fighter planes and they'd be fighting each other. And so he's sitting there like that, only now it's like technology. So he's not out there flying through the sky. Now he's sitting behind a desk with the screens in front of him with his thing like a video game and honing in. So what they were doing, and this is what the snow, that guy, he was also telling us this. And so she was coming out around the same time. I guess they'd already got Assange. They had already got him, and so he was already in the thing. And so she's right in there. I think she was right after or right around the time. So it was like around, I'm not sure. But so in this room, so that they listen to the video. So they listen, so they've got speakers around in people's houses. So, just imagine if we all had these things in our houses and they were listening to us, which they are. That's what they were talking about. And this is what this is about. But on this part, they, and she tells also of some other horrible practices. Besides waterboarding and stuff, they have other ways to break you, because that's what they do. And so they're all standing here, and she's heard them say the key word, and they hone in on him, and then they use a drone and just blow it, blow them all, families. And so this starts being like, she's just like, oh my God. And she's kind of OCD. So she starts fucking with her head, and she starts being like, okay, if I can do 200 push-ups, then everything's okay. If I can do, so she starts having, one of these kinds of things going. And that's how she's kind of surviving it at this point. And so every time, that she tells them that the keyword, then it's the same thing. They go in, they go with their drone, and they just blow. And so at one point they come out and tell her she's going to get an award because she got so many people, they're just so good. And, she just, it makes her sick. And then, and there's one that she's been listening to for a while, and it's a little kid. And so she is listening to him, and she's like this kid, she's stressed. And then one day, he says, the dad says the key word, and then she's just sick. Because then she has to tell, and she knows that they're gonna blow them, and they give her. So she was doing this for like 6 years for the military, and it just was getting to her. She couldn't do it, especially once they were gonna blow that kid. She had already had families and stuff, so she quit. She got her medal, and she quit. And then she went to go look for different jobs. So she was trying to enter, and this is another thing of how they control these people outside of, it's like I said, it's like a filter system. And so then they direct them. And so certain people get directed into these, like, this espionage, mercenary kind of world that we're living in, where they're corporate killers. Some of them get taken into secret programs. Like, it all goes into different things, and but they keep them under. And so they start telling her that a lot of people go to okay, I got two things going in my head at once. Okay, because her first thing was that she wanted to go and work, get a job over, like, in that country. She was very drawn to this country, and she wanted to get a job over there and teaching the kids English or something like that. And so she was so excited, she got an interview, and so she went to go to that. And so it was in the, what do they call that, the civil, like, the regular people community, it wasn't it wasn't military, it wasn't government corporation place, even though they all are, ran by. So anyways, so she goes over there for this interview, which she was positive she was getting this job, because she's this top translator person. She was positive she was going to get this job. She even broke up with her boyfriend because he was going to vet school, and he thought that they were going to, and so she broke up with him because she was going to Pakistan. and she wants to live over there and teach kids English. And so she goes to the interview, and the woman is just like, you don't have any college. You have to have a 4-year degree to have this. Doesn't matter. And she, and the girl's like trying to convince her, yeah, but I did all this in the military and all that. And the woman's like, well, tough titties, chick. You got to have that piece of paper. We don't give a shit what you can do. As long as you got to have this piece of paper. You got to pay the government money to educate you in the direction. You know, it's like, it's such a shenanigans. It's such a scam, man. So anyways, she couldn't get the job, which really threw her. It really devastated her. And so she was really down for a while. But then the money-making place, apparently, where everybody goes who's ex-military, if they want to make a lot of money and stay involved or whatever, is the NSA. So, and that's where Snow was. So she went to the same place, and she did the same thing. Only she got the thing that got up her yin yang was that on the news just nonstop, which even in their office or their place, because they're just like these long stations. They all just sit there with these headphones on, listening and translating what they hear. And it's just like all these people, and all listening and translating, and some apparently, you know, listening to all of us and shit. And that's what, you know, the Snow guy had talked about. And then, but she was the big, the big thing about who won and who didn't win and who interfered and who didn't interfere. And that's the whole thing. So she said she's listening to it on the news, and they're just nonstop. And then all of a sudden she saw in all of the records and the papers that she was doing all this stuff is like, oh, they did interfere. Like that really did happen. And she's like, the people need to know this is bullshit. You know, they're lying to the people. Like any of us who all of a sudden realize, like, the media's lying. Mine was on the medical about these kinds of things, and the fraud and all the bullshit that was going on with that. That's what, to me, it was like, wait a minute. What you talking about, Willis? It's like, that's some bullshit. You're talking fucking nonsense here, dude. Like, I was captured then. I knew that little fraudster. And also, I was thinking about this today, too, is the diddler. I was like, I remember when he was getting, like, where people start being like, oh, yeah, P. Diddy, he's so cool. I was like, who the fuck is P. Diddy? Who gives a fuck? And, I just saw a picture of him today, and I was like, all of a sudden, I remembered seeing a picture of him and always thinking, like, I never... to me, he always gave me the heebie-jeebies. He always gave me this, like, weird vibe. He has a weird thing about his eyes and his head. Like, he's eerie. He's creepy. And, but I didn't ever pay any attention to him. I wasn't in that kind of music or into his whatever. So I didn't, you know, he was just like, I heard people say his name sometimes. But I'm not at all surprised of how things are turning and where it's going now. But anyways, so she decides to leak this. She steals, runs a copy. And this is so wacky. Like, all they want to do is keep us uninformed, and you get in so much trouble if you try and tell us anything. Like, it's whacked, man. And so she, something that was confirmation, and she leaked it out. It was all over social media. Everybody was talking about it, but there wasn't enough stuff. It was like so nothing. It wasn't enough. And so it didn't really do not much. It just kind of made some drama on social media for a minute, like on tweets and shit. And then, but she, the military shows up at her place, and she tries to play it all cool. Like, what are you guys doing here? Like, so they show up, arrest her, and take her down. And this is where they started with the harassment and the torture kind of stuff. like she was kept in solitary, and they wouldn't talk to her or anything. Finally, it was like after a month and a half or something. I don't remember. She'd been in, maybe it was a couple weeks, but she'd been there, and she's like, "What am I doing in here?" And they said it's for her own safety. She's all over the news, so they're doing it for her own safety. But they have more things to try and fracture people's minds and break them and stuff. So, and she was pointing that out in the movie, the different things that they do. So, and so at this point, she's like a 25-year-old kid, and single. She doesn't have anybody or anything. She has her mom. Her dad's sick because I think, you know, he was addicted to, it was after a car wreck or something, and they got him on the opes, and then he got hooked, and so it just fucked, you know, it'll fuck you up. It'll fuck up your heart, it'll fuck up your organ, you know. It was chemicals constantly. Is not, hold on. I don't know if it's the bugs, crawling through my nose, whatever the fuck. So anyways, she, because her dad ends up dying too, and made it young age, and so anyways, she gets arrested and stuff, and they keep her isolated from her mom and stuff. Media starts showing up with the moms, and the mom is the one who stepped up, man. She did everything she could. She was on every interview. She was telling all the bullshit, and calling the government out and pointing out like what they were doing to her, and how other people have done stuff. And but see, they were trying to use, they said they were using her as an example, which there's a few of them, but it also probably has to do with certain information. But she was talking about like this other spy lady who was here, and then they let her go home. They wouldn't let this girl go home. They kept her in jail for like over 4 years for this thing that so, and it was so harsh. But anyways, when I was watching that movie, it was just like, I don't know, so much confirmation. Like everything is coming out. Everything is about the timing right now. And so that movie has a lot of disclosure, or way of opening your mind. And there's another thing too, because what was that I just saw? It was a person. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like, I don't want to mean this in any kind of mean way or anything, but there is a lot of people on the lean blue that are troubled, you know. They've got issues. They issues with their a lot of them, you know, are abused and confused and beat down and stuff like that. That's why they want to stand up for other people, because they have felt pain, and they're beat down, and they've got a lot of different things, you know. And so anyways, I had just seen this girl, and what I had seen first was this guy who said, if you haven't looked up about slime, you don't know the bullshit about that, then go look it up. This girl, Rosalie. And so I put in the search bar Rosalie, and so this girl pops up, which I've seen her a few times, but I don't know her name or whatever. But so I'm listening to her, and I'm looking at her little thing. It says Rosalie, they, them. And so then I'm like, oh, okay. So if a lot of these people who have been sexually abused, they discount, like they fracture themselves out. So there's a more to this they, them, it, he, she. Like there's more to all this stuff, I think. And so anyways, this girl Rosalie, she is a whistleblower on some sicko stuff with the pervs. And so I don't know all of her whole thing. Some of these people have parents that are involved in a lot of this weird rituals and shit like that. And so I don't know all her stuff. She knows a bunch of stuff though, and so she's exposing it. But I was thinking, in that group of people where there's a lot of people who are um, like asleep or whatever, um, those would be like their peers. So it's like their peer group is the ones who move them through this kind of awakening, if you understand what I'm saying. I don't know, it seemed so clear to me. It made so much sense all of a sudden, where I was like, oh, it was the same thing when I was like, realized like all these spiritual people, the new spiritual people, the new spirituality group, whatever it is, the awakened spiritual group, the light worker, I don't know, because it's all different levels. But anyways, the spiritual group that started, saying a bunch of stuff that I was like, what are they fucking talking about? That they were blue and they were all liberal and stuff. But when I very first started realizing that, because they're the tarot readers, all the people that are way more off of alternative fringe kind of, and so the people back in 2020, when I started hearing, it was about this and stuff, and then I would see these people online talking, and they would be all into it and stuff, and I was like, that is so weird. Like, they're spiritual. Like, why isn't their spirit telling them not to do that? Like, if they're really connected to their spirit and talking to it, like, I would think their spirit would say, look at this, look at that, pay attention to this, pay attention to that. And they were all just so on board, which I was like, okay, so that is weird. And but then they all started becoming so like it's like you were anti the movement towards love and connection and unity, but see, they're all being misled in a different direction, and it's pulling on this other part. But I started seeing like the super spirits were heavy in the blue, and so now it's kind of like, oh, so a lot of these people who are sexually abused, like trafficked and all that stuff, they are also the more liberal. And so that's why it's like, it's almost like people in their group waking up and pulling them out of the hole that they're in. And so anyways, I just had noticed that, and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense though for these people, but it's going to be the same thing on the other side too. Is the ones that are waiting on Jesus, all of them also have stuff that they have to overcome. But that is why I think it's like slow as it goes. But but everything that we need to do to get on board is to learn how to accept each other, to not be so judgmental of one another, and to let everybody go at their pace. But we need to get it more in the light of what we're doing here, in the development and the necessity and stuff. And there's so many people who want to just skip over all of that stuff and all this quantum leaping and jumping and stuff. It's like you're bypassing the point of being alive, I think, is but that could only be, maybe that's just a group of souls. Maybe there's a group of us that have vibrated that, where we see the value of learning and growing through lessons, and so we go for that experience. That could be just a philosophy, where other ones, they don't have that, because that's where we have these different philosophies to life, and when they all come together, it gives more of an expansive kind of understanding. But it is an approach. It's like in the higher minded, older ancient beings or whatever, there was like a distinct, there's always been this battle between science and nature. And so the development of the science, then there's people who think like, well, we wouldn't have this if it wasn't meant to be. But some things you have is for you to find the challenge of finding your own balance, not just indulge, just be indulgent. Just anything that's available, indulge, indulge, indulge. No, a mature person would find balance, wouldn't just, come out with cake and pudding all over the face, which, okay, so that was the thing with the slime. So the slime is a green screen so that those pictures where the people they get blasted and they make faces that certain faces turn certain people on, and then the green can become a variety of things. So it can look like anything you want it to look like when you are doctoring photos and stuff. So that is what it's about. So, and it's gross too, because because she said that these people like really gross stuff, like, poop on someone's face. That's the turn on to them. And then they're really big on this, if you know about the frazzle, and that, and the other part of the word is the drib. So that is, that has to do, it also has to do with Wilson, Tommy Wilson, and then why, that face makes a other presentation in like people's clothes and stuff. It's like, why does everybody like this fucking creepy face? It's like, it's because it's dark and fucking creepy. Man, these people are fucking freakos. So so that can easily be turned into red or whatever. And then this lady was saying again too to all the parents, keep your fucking kids off of the internet. Keep your kids' faces off the internet. Stop putting your babies out there with their milk all over their face, or eating and getting food, because that is a total fetish. Like, there is people who go on looking for that stuff. Like, you think, oh, look at how cute my baby is, and you got some old fucking some skeezer out there just beating the meat to the fucking. It's like, God, we got a fucking dark ass fucking world with these fucking weirdos. And that's not even the vamps. I don't know that the vamps have very much sexuality to them at all, really. I don't know about them. They're way more into the devouring. But what, they get triggered into our weirdo civilization, which I don't know once the cards are down and once we start seeing, once the lights come on, if some of these weirdo people, pervos, aren't some other beings, that are just here to be pervs. They aren't even the same as us. I don't know. My dad was a perv. I mean, he's still hanging around. I mean, there's just, everything is way more complex. So, I don't know. I guess it depends on how pervy you get. Like, because there's some weirdos. Like, I mean, really weird. And I don't know, how weird my dad would have got with the internet and shit. Like, look, I don't know. It's definitely fed into this weirdo shit. And so, I wouldn't. I thought it was weird no matter when I would see these people who put their kids out there like that. Like, my sister did years and years and years ago. And, I think I've already said this before, but I turned her in. I was so disgusted. And she was pissed. She thought it was somebody else who turned her in, but it was me. Yeah, it was me, Tracy. That, she had her kid, like, her kids are all little, and she thought it was so cute, this puppy pile of them laying all sleeping, some puppy pile in their bed all on top of each other in their underwear and stuff, and she posted on Facebook. I was like, what? Do you know how many fucking pervs are out there looking for kids in their... Why would you put that on fucking social... I was like... There became... it triggered a real weirdness in people on the Facebook, man. There's some people who weren't around back even to see all that, but oh my God. Jesus Christ, I didn't believe the shit people would put on there. And but yeah, it's like that's normal. Just put your picture. Like you're not showing them to your family. You're showing them to every fucking weirdo out there, every fucking perv. What do you think the pervs do all day? They don't go to work. They sit there looking for kids in their underwear and with shit on their face. So, anyways, yeah, I turned her into Facebook. Her video got taken down. And this was like in 2015 or something. She was so pissed. I was like, I couldn't even believe it. My mom did know that I was the one who had turned her in because I told my mom. And my mom, my sister had said some stuff to her. She never told, I don't know. It could be that she knows at this point. But now she's going to know if she hears it through anything. Yeah, I was the one. Because it's like, you got to protect the kids. It's like, you aren't. It's like these people, guys, just like these gangsters have said, that they get paid to go out. So there is these fucking weirdos sitting on the computer all day long looking at, I like that one, and then ordering them up. And then you have these gangsters, these MSs, like they are the hired hands of the fucking trade industry. Then you order them up and they go and find these kids and then they bring them to you. And then if people doubt this, like, well, then what's going on with all their kids? They're all missing all the time. And so, where I've seen 2 different gangster ones say that that's what goes on. That they hire, that these people find them online, then they hire these gangster people to go out and nab them. So she said the one gangster girl I had seen, she said, cause she was like, please stop putting your kids on the fucking video, on the things. But she said some of them will pay, like, you go and nab them, cut off their finger, take it to the person, they'll give them $10,000 for a part, which then you get the parts, depending on who you have access to and who you're involved with. There's a whole thing about cells, and when the cells grow, there's a fucking guy who was a regular old person who started growing something by using cells. Like he started, and he went, of course, from Dr. Frankenstein. I don't remember what it was. He mixed 2 things. Oh, was it? Was it he mixed his sperm with an egg? It was something fucking weird. He started growing some fucking thing. I mean, what in the world? Like, were you a Yahtzee and you got reborn and you just couldn't give it up? You just have to keep on trying to, I don't know. It's the energy here though too. So some people pick up on these weird energies. It's this fucking weirdo place. Like, this place is weird. But it was so crazy too on the media, how the media started roasting that girl. Oh my God, all these fucking late night fucking ludicrous fucking dickheads just meant to turn our direction, put it to where how we're supposed to look at things. They're the ones that are designing. It's not like Jimmy Kimmel is the one deciding how. No, he's just a fucking puppet. He just takes a script. It's the people who hand him the script and tell him what the fuck to talk about. He's void of character. I don't know what he's like in real person, but so many of these people, they just take a script and read their shit, and they get some laughs, they think they're funny. It's like, no, you're misleading the fucking population. That's some bad karma, dude. You got bad karma going, so like that. And but they were all just roasting that girl, that reality winner girl, and the stuff that they would go out and say. So they start bringing up that stuff. Well, she knew all these languages. Well, she's obviously a terrorist. She wanted to go over there. Well, she's obviously a terrorist. Like, but that's where her mom started coming out and poking holes in the stuff and saying things. Like, you gotta have an advocate. You gotta have somebody who stands up for you in this world. And, but this world is, it is a challenge. But you gotta look at it also as it's this game. It's a game that you're trying to overcome. Anyways, I think I've been talking playing along there. Seemed like that there was something else that I had seen that I wanted to say. It's just like, I don't know, it's just like the regular stuff, you know. There's just a lot going on, and a lot of people looking at it from all these different perspectives, but it's gonna be, you know, a collective consciousness is being created. Like, we're all gonna get on board, we're all gonna go in the same direction. It's this chaos. Oh, it keeps coming to my mind that the tornado, it's like a, I can't think of the word, but I can see it so much. But this stormy kind of thing is gonna, oh well, yeah, fuck, man. If it doesn't settle until, oh no, because it would seem that it would go together, and as we settle into a collective consciousness of awareness, that we would that it would settle the storms on the planet. But if it all is in this time of change, then the storms changing and us changing, so us changing, it would seem then that it would take a really long time. This is going to be really drawn out, because it goes together, the micro, macro, and, you know, it's kind of like, until the water is raised and there's a bunch of people dead, then we're not, like, it's like these, it's sad, because there's certain things that are gonna, like, have to happen in order to really turn us in this other direction. But it's gonna happen. It kind of is like, fuck, man. There's gonna be a lot of tragic things that really get us to get the storms to calm. It just keeps coming and coming. It's like a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of tornadoes. I can't think of this word. It's driving me crazy. But anyways, I mean, that's the sad part, though, is that it's gonna have to get really, really bad to, is how I would see it, because there is the micro, macro, and everything. So it's not gonna be like we're all gonna be just doing so great and everything, but the planet's gonna be falling apart. No, it's gonna be, we're falling apart at the same time the planet's falling apart. Is when we make this changeover, that's when there will start to be more peace. There will be more after the storm. So, and that may be this whole rapture thing that's got to go. I don't know, but that's how you got to kind of monitor to look at it. It's like it all goes together. It's all holding hands. So all of the chaos, and it's not going to be, you know, like I said, where all the humans are suddenly doing great and everything's going great and there's no storms on the planet. That until we reach this point of change on the planet, that the storms are going to keep going until the landscape is renewed, until our hearts, our spirits, and every soul is renewed. So, but that shows, man, it's gonna get intense. It's gonna get intense. I would think it's just gonna keep getting more intense. It's like building, it's like it's going in all these different directions, and it's gonna get crazy, and it's gonna get really sad for a lot of people. And then if you aren't sad, then you're gonna look kind of kooky, but really it's like, we really want to pull ourselves out of the drama and into the observation, and not getting caught up in all of this stuff, because it's not real. It just feels real, but it's not real. And for the people of what it seems real, it's because they're trapped. Their mind is trapped, and that's what they're trying to pull free from. And that's why we just got to keep talking about it and talking about it. Just keep trying to get the energy out there. This isn't real. This isn't real. There's a real thing to life, and you go inside to find it. It's your connection. It's through you, and the internal is where you find the real part of life. Everything that is out here is an illusion, but everything inside is real. But you've got to learn how to decipher, differentiate in the inside, because you have interference that has accessed you in this energy. So that's where you have this dark energy that influences people and makes them think that they are dark, that it's the dark energy is them and stuff. It's like, no, it's not you. Even though you have darkness and it feeds off of your darkness, but all you got to do is pull in your light and find your balance and realize, like, I'm not that. I don't want this. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want people to feel bad and stuff. And if you do want people to feel bad, then you need to look at your own resentfulness, your own, because it's coming from inside of you. There's some kind of anger or bitterness inside of you that you need to let go of. So anyways, that's how I look at it. That's what I see. So did I already show my tooth? Yeah, I did. Yeah, because it was really gray today. And so, yeah, it's super sensitive. But geez, I can touch right here and it hurts up here too. It's like, fuck, everything is just so sensitive. Everything feels intense. Everything seems intense. It just is weird. It's just weird. It's just like, I feel like so much, even though it's going to be so intense, whatever's going to go on, and there's going to be more people being killed and stuff, but it's going to feel like such a relief when things turn and the light is in, and it's not so much this dark, so much of this battle. So, but the battle continues. We continue to battle. Yeah, shake it off. Gotta shake it off. There's Archie. Max is over there, not puking, but it's just like, has he got one coming? I don't know. But anyways, Archie's that one. Still is over here. So oh yeah, and I have decided I'm for sure just gonna do the biotin. I'm not so impressed with these chews or anything. It's not like, I don't know. I mean, if some of you guys disagree and you're like, no, you can't see it enough, like it's done a lot, then, inform me and set me right, set me straight. And ouch, that's my funny bum on this chair. Also, I'm doing aloe vera on this botulism eye problem thing, and also on this thing on my chest that started growing. So let me think, was there anything else? And I'm still doing this thing every day that's supposed to be improving your skin, this red light thing for 10 minutes. And let's see. And yesterday I ordered, I had ordered them. They got here yesterday, tea bags. So yesterday I made up all of my little teas and my powders and stuff that I'm taking on my trip. Like, it's a week and a half away now. It's like, it's coming in so fast. I've even got my bag packed. I've got all my stuff. But anyways, and hopefully I'm not going to be harassed by these fucking gangsters in the fucking airport. Fucking TSA bullshit. Everything is just to control us all the fucking time. Make us feel like, oh, we're in danger. Please control us. Or please control us to save us. It's like, fuck off with this shit. It's like, it's fucking bullshit, man. So anyways, that's the mood I'm in. But no matter what, no matter if you're in a good mood, bad mood, whatever your mood is, you still gotta learn how to love yourself. You gotta accept yourself, because you're not always gonna be pleasant. Sometimes you're gonna be a bitch. Sometimes you're gonna be hateful. Sometimes you're gonna be a whole lot of different things. You're not just one thing. You're a whole lot of things. What you want to do is learn how to manage yourself and learn how to take care of yourself. And even if it seems extreme to one person, because this is something I was thinking yesterday. It's so funny, because you start out, you're not enough. You're not enough. You're never enough. And then you turn in, you're too much. You're way too much. You're too much. And then it turns into, what you want to do is become just right for you. You don't have to, it doesn't matter if everybody thinks you're too much, not enough. What it is you becoming peace with yourself and learning how to love yourself. Learn how to love everybody else and how to have the day that you want to have, because it's totally up to you. Depends on what you pay attention to. So anyways, we'll talk about it later. Talk to you later. Bye.